Just getting nice and comfortable here in your supported fish. Just one block behind the head, one behind the heart. If you are wanting this to be a little bit more elevated, you can always prop yourself up with pillows or bolsters on top of your blocks. Just giving yourself a little bit of time here to sink in. Setting aside the day. Letting go of the week. The good and the bad. The past and future. As you let yourself land, just checking in, noticing any areas of the body that are still feeling a little bit resistant, tight, sore. And tune into where you might already be feeling really open, at ease. See where you can just allow yourself to sink in a little bit more fully. Unclenching the jaw. The shoulders melt toward the earth. The arms relax. And the hips and legs stay heavy. And as you settle in here for just a little bit longer, maybe you start to take the arms even further away from the body. Maybe they end up eventually in a little bit of a cactus shape. Just letting the backs of the hands rest on the earth. Just feeling that opening across the chest, front of the shoulders. And thinking about breathing into the front, the sides, the back of your heart. Just creating a little bit more space as you breathe in. Releasing a little bit more tension as you breathe out. And taking a moment to acknowledge what it is that you need from this time on your mat for your body, your mind, your spirit. And letting your intention simply be to cultivate exactly what you need. And soaking it up, soaking it in. Just one gentle breath at a time. You might stay exactly as you are, or maybe see about stretching the arms overhead, perhaps grabbing opposite elbows, letting the arms hang. Breathing into the outside edges of your shoulders. If your back needs more support, just bend the knees, set the feet on the ground. Just taking one more full breath in. And a long breath out. And release opposite elbows if you're holding on. And you start to slowly roll off of your blocks into right side, fetal position. Just cradling your head with your right arm. Just letting that settle, letting that go. And taking one more full breath right here. And press into the left hand. You start to bring yourself up to seated. As you come up to sit, you might choose to have a block or a pillow underneath your bum. You may instead just start to slide the blocks forward if you do not need them for this. With your next inhale, start to sweep the arms out to the sides, up to the sky. You take a little twist to the left, right hand to left knee, left fingers back behind you. Think about getting a little bit taller as you breathe in. Slightly cinching in the waist to gently assist the twist as you breathe out. A couple more breaths right here. Start to look forward, reach up. As you exhale, gentle twist to the right. Left hand, right knee, right fingers back behind you. Think about getting a little bit taller. You lightly cinch in the waist, assist the twist. Gaze wherever it's comfortable for your neck. One more breath. Look forward, reach up. And take a moment, bring the hands back behind you. Fingers point in the same direction as your knees. You start to lean back into the hands, pull the heart forward and up. Just thinking of kind of like pulling through like you're in upward facing dog. Probably a little bit less strenuous since you're seated, a little bit easier on the back as well. You think about this as though someone has come up behind you and they're scooping the backs, the tips of the shoulder blades up toward the sky. So imagine someone's creating that little dig up to lift the heart up that little bit more. So imagining this being just a very slight assisted back bend, creating space through the tops of the shoulders, the outside borders of the chest. Take one more big breath in. Look toward your belly button. Neutralize the spine, turn the fingers out to the sides. And then you find that same little pull up, hug the shoulder blades a little bit closer together. You look forward or slightly up. Just mindful of the back of the neck. Work with what works for you. Maybe you find just a light little rock side to side from shoulder to shoulder. Just noticing how that feels. Bring that to stillness. Look toward your belly button and then turn the fingers all the way back behind you. They point in the same direction as your bum. As they point back, you roll the shoulders back, lift the heart up one more time, finding space through chest, through shoulders. Be a little bit of stretch through the biceps. So thinking about someone coming up behind the back of the heart to create that light lift. And take one more inhale. Look toward your belly button. Neutralize the spine. And come up onto the fingertips, framing your seat. And just switch the cross of the legs. And from there, just take a moment, roll the shoulders back and down a couple of times. Bring that to stillness. Oscillate the head, not oscillate, drop the head from side to side, ear to shoulder, and over to the other. Bring the head through center. And then you sweep the arms out to the sides, up toward the sky. And you take your right arm out to the side and then wrap it underneath your left arm. You can grab opposite shoulders or twist tie the arms. And you start to lift the elbows up, send the hands away from your face. As you find that lift up, think about ever so slightly hugging the arms together. You maintain that, or you start to create little circles with your spine. And as you make these little circles with the spine, you think about the elbows lifting as you come forward, and they drop a little bit as you come back. And just stirring things up a bit. Noticing how things feel along the way. And then you switch directions with those circles. Maybe you play a little bit with the elevation of the arms. And you draw the elbows through center, spine through center, little lift up, little micro back bend. And then bring the elbows in toward the chest. As you unravel, bring the right hand to the right side of the mat. Take the left arm up and overhead. Find your side bend. Press your left thigh, your left hip down. Just lengthening left side body. Gaze wherever it's comfortable. If there's sensitivity with your neck, I recommend looking down. And as you inhale, you start to draw up. And then you wrap your left arm underneath your right arm. You either grab opposite shoulders or you twist tie. You lift the elbows up away from the chest. If you're fully bound, you take the hands a little bit away from your face. Create that gentle hug of the arms, sit tall through the spine. And then you begin to stir these little circles with the spine. I'm just trying to let the movement itself become a little bit smoother with each pass. Maybe it feels a little bit sticky at first. Just playing with the elevation of the elbows. They might stay in the same spot, or maybe you explore the possibility of a little bit higher or a little bit lower. And then you switch directions with your stirring. And just breaking up some of the restriction that we often carry around the upper back, the outer shoulders, and along the midsection of the spine. Lots of benefit to stirring things up. Bring that to stillness. Lift the elbows, lift the heart, and then draw them in. And dropping the elbows down, start to unravel left hand to left side mat. Right arm in line with ear. Press the right thigh, right hip to floor. And roll the right ribs back just a touch more. And take one more big breath in. And exhale. And draw yourself up. And bring your hands to the front of your mat. Making your way into table pose, hands and knees. You tip tail to sky, belly to earth, ribs stretch forward. And tuck the tail round the spine, gently drop your head. Tail up, belly to earth. And round it out. Just continue to move with your breath for a few more rounds. Could just be simple linear cat-cow, or you might explore side bends, hip circles, or spinal circles. Move in a way that feels good in your body. Your next breath in brings you to a flat back. You'll bring your toes to touch, your knees come to hip distance or wider. You start to sink the hips back to the heels, but instead of anticipating where we go, you walk the hands over toward the left side of your mat. Hands might be side by side, or you stack a right hand on left hand. Sink the right hip back to the right heel, let your head rest toward the floor. It's just finding the lateral variation of your wide knee child's. Offering up space through the right outer edge of your shoulder, rib cage, torso. And breathe. One more breath. Walk the hands through center and then over to the opposite side. Left hand on right, sink the left hip back to the left heel. Breathing into the left edges of the body. Finding that space as you breathe in. That sense of ease as you breathe out. Taking one more breath. Walk the hands through center. Pausing there, take a big breath in. You slowly slide your hands back toward you, sitting onto your heels. As you breathe in, stretch the arms up to the sky. Pull hands to heart as you breathe out. Pausing for a couple moments, let the shoulders slide back and down. Gazing to fingertips or eyes closed, revisit your intention. Continuing to cultivate what you need from your practice tonight. And as you inhale, sweep the arms out and up. As you exhale, walk the hands into your wide knee child's pose. And come forward, table pose or cow pose. Breathe in. You sink the hips back to the heels. Child's pose. Breathe out. These little grounded salutations. Hands slide toward you. And then up. And the hands pull to heart center. Arms reach to the sky. Wide knee child's. Walk the hands inch by inch. Table or cow pose. Breathe in. Flat back or little back bend. Child's as you breathe out. Hands slide toward you and then up to the sky one more time. Pull hands to heart. Reach up. Child's pose. Forward table pose. Knees under the hips. And as you inhale, just taking a moment, slide the left leg back. Pull the belly in, pop up the fingertips. You tuck your left knee in. You step forward. If the step feels a little bit tight, use your left hand to scooch the left foot. Just taking a few moments in your low lunge. Couple breaths just to create a little bit of space through the front of the hip. You might choose to stay there or left hand to mat, bed if you're in bed, or block. And you start to stretch the right arm in line with your right ear, left hand out to the left side. Just offering up a little bit more space through the side line of the body. And take one more inhale. And bring the right hand down. And just push the hips halfway back, half splits, just the one time. Pull left hip crease back, a little lift of the heart up. Bring your left hand inside your left foot and the left knee. Crawl forward into your lunge. You step back into table. And the right leg goes back. Round the spine, step the right foot through. Scooch the foot forward as much as you need. Drop the hips gently forward and down. Again, the option is there to keep this exactly as it is, where you begin to bring the right hand down to the right side of your space, onto mat, block, or whatever you have for a bit more support. Left arm draws in line with left ear. So you're creating this little side body stretch, unraveling this space to help better release everything else. One more inhale. Bring the left hand down, walk your hands, your hips halfway back, straighten-ish out the right leg, flex the toes to the sky. Couple of breaths, try to lift the back of the heart up. Bring your right hand inside the right foot, bend the front knee, lunge forward. You slide the right leg back. And keep the hips stacked above the knees. Crawl the hands forward, let the head and the heart come down. And a couple of breaths in your puppy stretch. One more inhale. Press elbows to earth. Slide shoulders over elbows, legs back, hips to the floor. From your Sphinx pose, option is there to go block free for this, or you might choose to create a little bit more height using your blocks. Either way, the elbows are coming forward, triceps are going to rest on your mat or on your props. The one thing that I will ask you to be mindful of is the distance of the blocks. So sometimes what ends up happening is because we have tight shoulders, we sometimes set our blocks really, really far apart. They should really truly be head distance and only head distance. So they perfectly frame your noggin so that when you come into this, the tops of the ears are framed by your blocks. Blocks are nice and close, and then the elbows and triceps come up onto your block. The blocks might be at the lowest height, they might be at the middle height, or you might go without blocks. So you choose what works the best in your body. And you try to think about, when you start to set it up, letting the arms come as close to the ears as they can. So you're trying to really get the arms in around the ears so that maybe it feels kind of like you were trying not to hear me. So that you've got a little bit more silence in your space. And so that the shoulders ultimately stay a little bit better externally rotated. So that we're allowing for a little bit more ease around the shoulder joints. The fingertips may point to the sky, or you bend a little bit deeper, thumbs toward the back of the heart. Breathing in and around the outside borders of your shoulders. Offering subtle space around the chest, front of the spine. And giving yourself another 3 to 5 breaths, just as you are. Where can you relax a little bit more? into your Anahata Asana, your melting heart pose. Taking one more full breath in. And gentle press into the arms. Feel your forehead lift. Little tuck of the chin. Stay looking at the mat. You're just stepping one arm down at a time. And then grabbing your blocks, they shift a little bit wider to the middle height, longest length. And you're setting them just underneath the front of your shoulder and front of your bicep. The arms come down by your sides. The forehead comes down to the space beneath you. And you just breathe. Embrace how good it feels to let that go. Just feeling the gentle support of your props beneath you as you sink into this little reverse supported fish. Relax the jaw. And soften the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Relax all the way up between the space around the eyebrows. Giving yourself another 5 to 7 breaths, just as you are. Keeping your forehead on the mat, please. Turn your palms to face down. Slide your hands to your block. And take the blocks away. And just stacking the hands under the forehead. Give yourself a moment. Maybe you lightly sway the hips from side to side. You let the hips come to stillness and hands under the forehead. You roll your head from side to side. Just ever so slightly using the backs of the hands to massage across the eyebrows. From there, bring your head through center to stillness. And two options, if it feels better generally to roll through fetal position to make your way up to seated, to roll through fetal. Otherwise, hands next to bottom ribs. And you just press yourself to table. From table or fetal, and you make your way up to seated. I'm just here briefly to offer a little bit more relief for the neck. You might choose to sit up on a block or pillow. Maybe you're comfy where you are. And from there, you interlace the fingers behind your bum. You take the hands over to the right side of your waist and gently drop the right ear to the right shoulder. Just looking for a little bit of space through left side neck. Try to really focus on keeping the jaw unclenched. You can stay in stillness or keeping the ear to the shoulder. You very gently nod your head yes on this little diagonal line from left shoulder toward upper right corner of the room. As you discover tight spots along the way, you might pause into those spots and very lightly take your head side to side on the diagonal, so like a little no. Just exploring where you can unravel some of the tension around your sternocleidomastoids, the muscle that connects from jaw into collarbone into sternum, all the while keeping the jaw unlocked so that there's a little bit more ease in this space. A couple more breaths. And bringing chin to chest. Take a moment, release the interlace. Hands to lap. And sit tall. Stillness, or you might choose to gently roll out the shoulders, maybe roll out the head and neck. When you're ready, switching the cross of the legs. And taking the interlace the non-habitual way behind your back, opposite fingers and thumb on top. Take it over to the left side of your waist. And gently drop left ear to left shoulder. Both shoulders soften away from the ears. And just checking in with how this side feels. This might be enough, or you might choose to take your head on that little diagonal nod from right shoulder to upper left edge of the room. And just letting the jaw stay unlocked. Stay with the gentle rhythm of your inhale and your exhale. Maybe you explore a little oscillation on the diagonal line, a little side to side motion along the way. Just noticing where things feel more open, more tight. Slowly bring your head through toward chin toward the chest. You release the interlace. Bring your head upright. And again, you can stay in stillness. Or you might choose to make gentle movement, nice and slowly, with shoulders, with head, with neck. Bringing yourself to stillness and keeping your props available. So you're going to move one of your blocks to the back of your mat, to the middle height, widest width. And then you'll keep the other block kind of more in line once you lay back. It'll be kind of in line with your hips,
Alternatively, if you did bring pillows or a bolster with you, as you lay back, you can kind of set up your legs for where we go following this right away. So if you are using bolster or pillows, maybe it tucks in behind the knees as you start to lay back, just using the support of your forearms on the way down. You take the back of your skull to the edge of your block. And if you're not using anything under the knees, you might want to keep the knees bent, just a little bit easier on the back. The ridge of the skull is supported by ridge of the block. Neck is fully exposed, so the block is not touching your neck, please. Hands rest where they're comfortable. Relax the shoulders. And very slowly and gently, just oscillating the head from side to side. Noting that there might be little bits of sensitivity along the way if this area is tight. If the middle height is truly unbearable, so not just uncomfortable, but really to the point of discomfort that borders on pain, recommendation to just take the block one setting lower. If it's just a little uncomfy because this area is fussy, which for many of us it is, just take it a little slower, breathe a little bit more intensely through it. If you find spots that clearly need some extra care, you might pause on those spaces and lightly nod your head yes and no. Giving yourself a few more breaths to move through this. Just alleviating the tension in this space that often is correlated with the tension headaches we can end up experiencing around the backs of the eyes, around the temples, around the back of the skull. Helping as well to alleviate some of the resistance we can end up feeling in the neck as a result. You unclench the jaw a little bit more. The shoulders sink a little further away from the ears. And the last few breaths. Bring your head through center. Use your dominant hand, please, to the back of the neck. Slide up behind the back of the head, using dominant arm to pick up chin to chest. Non-dominant hand slides your block gently aside. One or both hands help to lower your head. You might take both blocks under the knees, or if you've got a spare pillow or bolster, tuck it under the legs. The hands might rest on the body if that feels more appropriate, or you tuck the shoulders under as you slide the arms away. Letting palms face the sky to offer up a little bit more ease around the chest, the shoulders. You just take this time to sink in, to rest and release a little bit more fully. Just letting go from head to toes. Inviting this wave of restfulness to wash across you. And starting to relax relax and smooth out the space across the forehead. And you soften between the eyebrows. Relax around your temples. And let the eyelids be heavy. And jaw remains unclenched. Take the tongue away from the roof of the mouth. Soften sides, front, and back of the throat. You feel the shoulders sink toward the earth, weight of the world just rolling off of them. Arms relax. Palms and fingertips soften. Just feeling the breath very lightly moving chest, ribs, and belly. Expanding on the inhale. Relaxing within the exhale. And let the hips anchor down. The legs let go of their hold. You soften all the way down to the soles of the feet and the tips of your toes. You invite this deep sense of relaxation, of comfort every time that you breathe in. You feel your body lean into this place of rest every time that you breathe out. But the inhale really just invites in this sense of ease. The exhale offers a sense of release. And breathing in the abundance, lightness, and restfulness. As you breathe out, you just let go of your hold. And basking in stillness. Leaning in to relaxation. Knowing that there's nothing to fix, nothing to change. You're exactly where you need to be. Here and now.
you wish to remain in this shape for a little bit longer, or if you're already cozy and tucked in, you're welcome to just stay as you are. No pressure to get up and move. If you're ready to bring some life into the body, very slowly, keep it gentle with fingers and toes. And oscillate your head from side to side. And just trying to keep your eyes closed as you move. And draw the knees in toward you. And just give yourself a gentle squeeze, gesture of gratitude for showing up for yourself tonight. We'll roll side to side, making your way to left side, fetal position, cradling your head with your left bicep. We take this pose at the end of our practice to remind ourselves that every ending has a new beginning. Perhaps taking with you your intention into your new beginning. And press into your right hand. Start to bring yourself up to a comfortable seat. Meeting with hands together in front of the heart. Thank you so much for meeting me on your mat tonight. It was truly a pleasure and privilege to share this space with you. Have a wonderful rest of your evening, lovely week if I don't see you sooner. Until next time, namaste.